Catch up on all the live shows right here on africatechradio.com.
This is Africa Tech Radio, Africa's #1 technology radio. Welcome to Cruise Control, your daily dose of social tech chat shows spotlighting the big changes in our society with the influence of tech. My name is Buki, your host. Today I will be speaking with Ichor Joshua. He is the Chief Technical Officer of Naza Agape Foundation. Hello, Joshua.
Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon.
So please walk us through this NGO, Naza Agape Foundation.
All right. So Naza Agape Foundation is a non-profit organization that is non-governmental, and it is based in Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria, with branches in Lagos and Abia State. So the organization was founded by Mrs. Prayer Nwagboso in 2013, and the works of Naza Agape Foundation cuts across thematic areas of impact. These include the environment, education, sanitation and hygiene, and other areas of sustainable development as prescribed by the United Nations. So we at Naza Agape Foundation execute a lot of impact projects that are both funded by local and international partners. And our projects are focused or geared towards driving impact and sustainability in the environment and in the whole world at large.
Okay, from what you just said now, I want to believe that Naza Foundation is actually looking out for children because you believe that every child deserves a better future and you look to impact the child, right?
Yes, that's right.
So I'm going through your works, and this conversation is solely based on the innovative, eco-friendly approach that you guys are about, which means that you are producing biodegradable sanitary pads for girls. But I'd like to start off this conversation. I was actually happy to be talking about this conversation with a man, because menstruation, which is an integral and very inevitable life of a woman, actually is a taboo topic around this Africa, basically. We don't get to talk about it as boldly as we talk about other things. And you cannot take out period from the life of a girl child.
That's right.
So what's the educational plan for boys and girls in making this conversation much approachable to them growing up in life? Because they will still be with girls will be with boys, and they can choose whatever preference they want. So how do we make this menstruation conversation more open, taking away the social stigma and barriers? How do we break into this for children growing up?
Basically, the topic of menstruation and menstrual hygiene is something that has to be addressed, because prior to now in Africa and in other countries, for example, India, this was a taboo topic to be discussed in public. In fact, particularly in India and some places in Africa, ladies were stigmatized, where a woman will have to stay away from the house during the period of menstruation. Mm-hmm. And it is a very troubling issue, because according to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 1, SDG 1, no poverty is clearly stated. And then it is discovered that period poverty is a major problem in Africa. Over 60% of girls and women in Africa do not have access to safe sanitary and menstrual hygiene management products. And this is actually a big problem. But because this problem is not publicly discussed, then it's actually not known to many. The first step to solving a problem is to acknowledge that that problem exists. And after acknowledging that that problem exists, that is when solutions can be developed from consultations, from discussions, and all of that. So it is very important that discussions about menstruation and menstrual hygiene be made so that young girls and women can be made aware. That is why at Naza Agape Foundation, we focus on outreaches, going to schools in remote villages and rural areas where information has not reached, to give detailed talks and to create awareness on the issue of menstrual hygiene and menstrual hygiene management. So that is what we are doing.
Okay, thank you very much. I also get from what you just said that Naza Agape Foundation is actually supporting girls from rural areas, low-income areas, and you already have a project that is called a Pad a Girl project, which you're distributing pads to girls from this low-tax bracket area. How has it been so far? What's been recorded around these giving pads to girls? How has it supported them so far?
All right. So the Pad a Girl project, has actually extended to a number of local governments within and outside Plateau states. So the project focuses on creating awareness on safe menstrual hygiene management, whereby young girls, most especially students in secondary schools, are equipped with sanitary pads and other menstruation management kits to enable them to safely manage and keep menstrual hygiene. So during the program, students are also taught on the safe methods of disposal of sanitary pad, because it might surprise you to know that conventional sanitary pads used around the world today contain up to 90% plastic. And plastic pollution is a major problem in the world today, whereby it is predicted that by 2050 there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. So we teach them the appropriate ways to dispose sanitary pads. And in fact, when we saw that this was a major problem, we at Naza Agape Foundation brought up an innovation which is called Gellified. So Gellified is a biodegradable sanitary pad that has been designed and is manufactured by Naza Agape Foundation. The Gellified sanitary pad is produced from biodegradable materials like banana stem agro waste. So we acquire banana stems, we extract their fibers, and we process them, and then we convert that into sanitary pads. So we produce the Gellified sanitary pad from biodegradable banana stem. So that is what we are doing in order to combat the problem of period poverty, and at the same time to combat the problem of plastic pollution emanating from the usage of sanitary pads. So the Gellified sanitary pad is actually 35% cheaper than the conventional sanitary pads in the market today. So this is our strategy of combating period poverty within sub-Saharan Africa for now.
I like the fact that this is actually not just tackling one problem, it's actually tackling two problems at a time. You're looking at the financial level of the girl child and also looking at the sustainability and protecting the environment. But what interests me about this product is the fact that you mentioned is made from banana. It's a plant-based, so why banana? What made banana the ideal component for making and producing this reusable sanitary pad?
The use of banana to produce a sanitary pad is actually very fascinating, because bananas, as you know, they have an annual growth rate such that the banana tree, it dies immediately after producing fruits. So the banana tree produces fruits once and then it dies. So what happens is that when the banana stem dies after the production of its fruits, it becomes a very, very toxic environmental waste. For example, if you go to places like Calabar, Cross River State, farmers have a hard time getting rid of the banana stem agro waste. So most times it decays and then it causes environmental pollution. So we looked into that fact, and then we saw the need to utilize this banana stem agro waste, and at the same time while utilizing the banana stem agro waste to make our sanitary pad, we empower farmers, because instead of farmers struggling to get rid of the banana stem agro waste, we buy the stem immediately after they harvest. So we save them the cost of disposing the banana stem agro waste, and then we also empower them, so they are getting money as we are buying the waste from them. So when we buy the waste, we extract the fibers from the waste, and then we treat the fibers, and then we proceed to manufacture our sanitary pad from them.
So these fibers are mostly the component of the pad, or are there other components that you add to make this pad?
Yes, there are other components we add, but the fibers form the absorbent core, because what is used in the normal sanitary pads is a form of plastic. It's an absorbent polymer plastic, yes. But research has shown that the banana fibers extracted from banana stem has about 6 times higher absorbing capacity than the plastic polymers that are used in the conventional sanitary pads. So we use the banana stem, and then we used organic cotton to make the sanitary pad. So those are the core components of the gelified sanitary pad.
Before I jump into the hygiene level of this product, as a female, I understand the struggle of trying to get a sanitary pad, and there are varieties of sanitary pads outside.
Yes,
and there are other factors that should be considered when getting a sanitary pad, because we have our skin type, for example, our body shape, our flow, the frequency of the blood that we giving off during our menstrual period. And now you're saying this is going to be able to absorb faster. How do we know the rates that this can absorb? Because now you're encouraging that this product can be reused. So what's the absorbent value, the rates? How good is it in comparison to the disposable sanitary pad?
Yes, so the gelified sanitary pad is actually very super absorbent. It has been tested. In fact, we have rolled out the product and carried out research internationally, where we won an award by the Canadian government through its Afri-Plastic Challenge for the product we have developed. And we are also carrying out further research to improve the product, and we will be launching the product by early next year, fully into the market. So the absorption rate has been tested, and before producing their product, we carried out market surveys, and we also went into deep interaction with girls and women to find out their most pressing needs, because we wanted to develop a product that is user friendly. So from our survey, we discovered that most ladies wanted comfort. They wanted to derive comfort from the sanitary pads. And then most of them complained about the exorbitant costs of the current sanitary pads in the market today. There is an increasing price of sanitary pads, which is making them unaffordable for girls and women, especially those from low income homes. So we did our surveys, and then we incorporated the needs of women and girls in our society. We incorporated those needs into the design of the gelified sanitary pad.
Actually, I'm looking at studies on my laptop, and I can actually see that as a woman, we're going to see our period for approximately 35 years. And it's also showing that up to 31 to 56% of women can't afford to buy a pad. Which I think this idea of reusable pad is good. But before I jump, I really want to talk about the hygienic properties, but there is still a conversation around the affordability and availability of this gelified pad. How affordable is it for the everyday woman? Most especially those in the rural area who sometimes they use tissue paper, they use clothes, they use all sorts just to keep themselves put together during their menstrual period. So how affordable is this, and what's the availability of gelified pad to African women?
All right, I would like to make a quick clarification.
Okay.
There are 2 types of pads that are produced by Naza Agape Foundation. Before the onset of gelified sanitary pad, which is made from banana fibers, Naza Agape Foundation produced the reusable sanitary pad, which is currently being distributed to girls through our outreaches. But the gelified sanitary pad is not a reusable sanitary pad.
Okay.
Yes. The only difference between the gelified sanitary pad and the conventional pad is the content and its biodegradability. So the reusable sanitary pad produced by Naza Agape Foundation is a different product from gelified, which is an award-winning sanitary pad produced by the same foundation. So there are two pads we produce at Naza Agape Foundation: the reusable sanitary pad and gelified, which is a biodegradable sanitary pad.
So, okay, there are two different types of pad, if I hear you correctly. You have the one that is biodegradable and gelified. Almost 56% of women can't afford to buy a pad, so they opt for clothes, they opt for tissue, papers, cotton wool, and all sorts. So, if a woman wants the one she can reuse and can sustain her through one menstrual cycle, and she can have that same pad for the next one, which product is she supposed to go for?
Okay, so she can opt to go for any of our products because the reusable sanitary pad serves fine, and also the gelified sanitary pad serves fine too. But both of them are actually very, very affordable because in Nigeria today, for example, the normal range of sanitary pads are between 350 naira to 1,000 naira. So from our user-friendly design, we are making ours 30% cheaper. For example, a pack of gelified contains about 8 sanitary pads, which can serve a woman in a single menstrual cycle, and we are looking at a proposed market price of about 230 naira
for a pack of pad.
Yes.
How many pieces do you have, like, in the pad?
8
pack?
pieces.
8 pieces.
8 pieces.
That's for the gelified.
Yes, that's for the gelified.
What about the biodegradable one, the other pad?
Gelified is the biodegradable. Okay. Gelified is the biodegradable. So the reusable one is the reusable one is 100 naira and can serve a woman up to 3 months.
I'm particularly interested in this reusable pad because if a woman cannot afford to buy a pad and dispose it and have to save up for another cycle, she would definitely want to keep the reusable one. How long can she keep this reusable pad for?
3 months.
So she can use it for 3 menstrual cycles?
3 months. Yes, that is menstrual cycles, yes.
So now let's jump into the hygiene level of this product, especially for the reusable. Because most times when women are on their period, they are susceptible to getting infection from low hygiene practices. So if they are going to be using a reusable or they are going to be using the gelified, what is the hygiene protection that you're guaranteeing to these women?
Yeah, so the reusable sanitary pad is designed in such a way that all absorbed materials from within the pad are released from the pad in a single wash. So washing the sanitary pad after use to enable the user to use the sanitary pad is going to make it very safe and healthy. Because one, most conventional sanitary pads, they contain chemicals. This has been proven by research. And the reusable sanitary pad we are producing is chemical free. So, for example, in a normal polymer sanitary pad, when you wash it, there's a tendency of releasing the chemicals which are being used to produce the sanitary part. But for the reusable sanitary part, it's made up of 100% organic cotton.
Okay.
Yes. So from washing, you are rest assured that the contaminants or germs that came along with possibly the menstruation are gotten rid of. Yeah.
Okay, so I think if we had like testimonies from people that have used this pad, this would have been so great. So I don't know, is there like testimonies that we can actually look for so that we can be rest assured that this is a good product and it is very, very healthy for our women, and also the product is also not causing any harm to our environment? Is there any testimonies that we can actually look to?
There are testimonies of the product in video form, and there are also testimonies. For example, on the Gelify blog, you can see some testimonies from there, and then there are also ones that we captured from some of the schools to which the foundation has carried out its outreach.
So for every product, we'll definitely have contradictions for some people. Like I said, every woman has unique needs and our body differs. Have there been any complaint from any of the women that have used it as to them reacting to, because not everybody eats banana. There are some fruits that some people eat and they complain that they are having reaction. Have there been any woman, girl that has complained about something significant that happened to them after they used this product?
Yes. So when we did our first user testing, the only complaint we received was that the Gelify sanitary pad particularly was too short.
Okay.
Yes. So we had to come back and do a redesign and then improve and add make some modifications on our production machinery to increase the size. But for the Gelify sanitary pad, it has not been fully launched into the market. The Gelify sanitary pad will be launched by January, possibly at the unveiling of the Afri-Plastic Challenge in Canada. And then we also have a launch in Nigeria. But it has not been launched into the market fully, although we have carried out user testing and experimental testing in the past months, but it has not been fully launched into the market. But for the reusable sanitary pad, there was also a complaint about the length of the sanitary pad and some complaint about the thickness. And those were modifications that were made on the design. So that is what I've experienced so far, but there has been no reactions as whatsoever because the pads we produce are completely chemical-free sanitary pads.
I mean, I like organic products. I like the fact that I can be one with earth, with whatever I'm eating, whatever I'm using, be it skincare products, sanitary products. It's a good innovation, I must say. I'm also looking at Agape's page, and I could see that you are also about educating the girls. Because this conversation, we cannot talk, if we talk about period, we talk about how girls go to school and on their periods, they are not able to be in classrooms because of unconventional fear of being stained, having cramps, or all of those stuff. So I'm sure this reusable pad will be able to take care of that. And when Gelify comes into the market, to be able to ensure that the girls are in school. But let's talk about the digital literacy project that you recently had, the Youth Mobile project. Please walk me through that.
Okay, so the Youth Mobile project was a digital literacy project that was executed here in Plateau State in partnership with the United Nations. So they funded the project and then we implemented. So in Africa, for example, digital literacy, especially among the girl child, is something that has been neglected. So you discover that most times girls are considered not to be eligible or to be fit, or some of them, due to the upbringing they have had, they consider themselves unfit for certain fields. For example, you have fields like artificial intelligence, and you have other fields like programming, Internet of Things, and some technical and engineering, as well as environmental fields.
So the digital literacy program was targeted and geared at equipping young girls with basic digital skills in programming and app development to enable them to spark their interest in fields that involve digital works, for example, programming, computer science, and other technological and innovation fields. So that was the core foundation of the digital literacy program. And the girls were trained on practical skills in app development, and most of them, like you can see from the program, they were able to produce apps from the skills we had equipped them, and some of them even went ahead to participate in to use the products they developed to participate in competitions. That is a brief about the program.
Okay, I wanted to find out the outcome, but you already mentioned that they went ahead to use the app. So the apps are very functional.
Of course, they are very functional applications.
This is a great innovation in our society, and I personally appreciate the fact that girls have opportunity to grow and learn wherever they find themselves, because education should not be to some people an option and to some people no option for you, or no brainer that you can have education, especially in areas in the north where we're still fighting for girls to be in classrooms and for everybody to have equal education. Thank you very much for this conversation. Please, is there a website, social media handle that you can share with us so people who would like to be like a support or to look into what Naza Foundation is about can go on the page to check you out?
Yes. Our website is nazaagape.org. nazaagape.org, and we are also on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. You can find us at Naza Agape Foundation. Naza Agape Foundation. And for the Gellified project, you can find us on gellified.com.ng. So you can follow the development of the biodegradable sanitary pad, Gellified, on the website gellified.com.ng. Yes, you can find us there.
Okay, that's clear. Thank you very much for your time. We look forward to more of these great innovations from Naza Agape Foundation. Yeah. Appreciate your time.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, guys. So that's a great conversation for the day. You can tell your girls, you can tell your sister, you can tell your mother, you can tell whichever female you have in your life about this beautiful innovation from Naza Agape Foundation. Everybody wants to have their period without having to tear their pocket. It's financially friendly, if I must say, outside or looking out for the environment. I like anything that would not cost me arm and leg. So it's a good thing to look into. So after all of this, I'm sure you definitely want to follow us on Africa Tech Radio. We are your Africa #1 technology radio, bringing you up to date with everything happening in the world of tech. We are on social media at Africa Tech Radio, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and don't forget to follow us on www.africatechradio.com. From me to you, it's peace, love, and bye-bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to catch up on all the live shows right here on africatechradio.com.